Here it is. Reason, I'll say, I don't know, 170. I don't know. Whatever. Just pick a number. Reason 170 why people don't like me sometimes. Or that piss them off. I think this is beautiful. Yep, it's April 9th. It's fucking snowing. And I think it's pretty as fuck. And when I go get a coffee later, everybody's gonna be like, it's snowing. And I'm gonna be, I know, isn't it beautiful? And they're gonna be like, what the fuck? And then I'll be like, but you know it's helping them melt and blah, 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 blah. And keep up the fucking happy vibe because legit, I'm happy. It's pretty as fuck. Like here, can you see that? Some of the chunks are so big. There's like fucking hearts and shapes and stuff falling from the sky. This is like the snow that like we dream of because it has like all those shapes. Do I eat this snow and stick my tongue out and try to catch it? Yeah, I do. Life tip to go with like 170, life tip 170. Close your eyes when you put your mouth open to eat this kind of snow. Why? Because when it gets in your eyes, it ain't as pretty, it kind of hurts. Well, it doesn't hurt, it's really cold. Like seriously, catch one. Here, right on the camera. Oh, catch one. Yeah, it's not gonna stay. It actually helps the melt. And look at it, it's getting like ugly out, right? Like, well, not there where you can see like the grass and the and everything, but like the snow isn't pretty anymore. It's like kind of grayish, like especially in town. Ugh, it's like ugly. So this little white coating is just gonna make it pretty. That's my driftwood finds that there's a lot of shit around here. There's a lot. Nobody has done anything around here for I don't even know how many years. So yeah, a lot of those aren't driftwood. They're actually, well, it's like real wood that is like smoothed out because a lot of debris comes up. Well, I can't wait, oh my god, in the next couple of weeks when it gets like all thawy and then like the wind is gonna make all the stuff come up from the lake that is just like treasures. Like holy fucking treasures. Like the best time is like the spring because stuff that was like inside the lake, like at the bottom, is like gonna be washed up to shore. So yeah, maybe I'll find like, I don't know what I'll find. And that's the cool thing. Yeah, that was like in between when I was moving and like pretty much by myself to do it, and 7-year-old assistant, that we would take a random walk along the beach. Well, it's not a beach here, it's like fucked up. It's really cool, it's weird. The beach is like over there, can't see it. But still beach, even if it's not sandy and perfect like it is like 50 steps away. And yeah, we do like a run, hook up at my sister's Jeep with the trailer, which, yeah, hooking up the trailer and taking it off, because I'm not really good at backing up. I know, I'm a driver, I'm a winner, but backing up with that trailer as like, I got better every single fucking day. Like, believe me, by the end I was like, not a pro. I wasn't a pro. I was not a pro. I drove a big rig once, like a really big fucking milk truck. I did. I totally drove a milk truck once down a dirt road. And it was swishy in the back because it was half full. And when we got to the second farm, like I started driving at the first farm we were at and went like straight and on a dirt road with washboard. That was, yeah, I know. I've only driven like a big transport truck once and it was on a dirt road with washboard fucking like, it was so cool. When we got to the second farm, I says to my friend who let me drive, I was like, okay, I'm going to get out now. I can't back this up. And he's like, yes, you can. And I'm like, no, I can't. And he's like, yes, you can. You can do this. And I was like, No, I'm not doing it. And he's like, well, I'm not getting back in until you back it up. Like, I'm going to get out. I'm at the destination and do my job. And then I'll start driving again because you're not allowed to be driving this and I could get fired. So I was like, okay. And I backed it up in one fucking shot right to the fucking door. It was really cool. Yeah, I forget what I was talking about. Anyways, beach, debris. Yeah, one of the things about here, the beach, is that I gotta find, I don't know, because I'll still be here till June, I guess. I don't know. I'm still here for a bit, and you gotta make it fun. So I want to find a metal detector that goes in water, because you can see the dock that's all like washed up there and fucking like got like fucked all to, wow. There's like nails that are like, the ones that are like, I don't know how many, I don't know, 6-8 inches, like they're about almost as big as half my leg. Yeah, half my leg for sure. So there's little nails, big nails, there's screws, there's stuff in the water on the beach, so I gotta clean that motherfucker up. So I don't know how I'm gonna find a metal detector that goes in water. I'm thinking those rental places, somebody's gotta have a metal detector that goes in water. There's a dude that comes every year over at, maybe I'll show you guys, there's like a public beach, like, I don't know, 3 football fields away. And there's a dude who comes every year, like really when it just after the real thaw. It's usually still cold water, nobody's swimming yet, and he puts on those like hip waiter thingies, and he goes in the water and with his metal detector, so like I know it exists, I've seen somebody, and he actually looks for the stuff that people like lose on the public beach. And I've never went to talk to him. It's always, whenever I've seen him, I've always been in this, a type of day where I can't just go randomly talk to him. But I wonder, he must score some shit, because when I lived in the middle beach, that is like 1.5 football fields away, which was not a public beach, it was a private beach for where I lived, I would find stuff all the time. But I'm different, and it was, people were there, so I would bring stuff to the owner and say like, oh my god, look at this chain, like somebody forgot it on the beach, or oh dude, I found the keys to like number 2 that everybody's looking for, or rings, like I found stuff all the time, and then brought it back, and yeah. Finders keepers, losers weepers, except for on a public beach where you actually like know people are looking for stuff, or sometimes people didn't even realize they had like lost their stuff yet because they had just left the beach and they were gone back up to do that thing where they were like getting ready for the fire time and all that stuff, and they didn't even know they had lost their stuff yet, except for the people who lost their keys. City people I thought were funny. When they would come, they would lock their doors. I know. Y'all are like, of course I lock my doors. And I was like, more like, oh my god. Like, why bother for a week of vacation, or 2, sometimes people would stay. Why bother, like, dragging your fucking keys around? But it's like that instinct, right? Because you have to do that. You're in the city, and you're fucked if you don't for 5 minutes. But here, yeah, it doesn't roll that way. And, yeah, I always thought that was funny. Or even funnier is the people who lock their cars, because you can hear when somebody locks their cars, it goes like beep beep. And sometimes that would actually piss me off. Yeah, I get pissed off too. Because I'd be sitting there having a fire. I haven't had a fire since September. I'm going batshit. Oh, gotta get a fire permit. Gotta get a fire permit. Gotta get a fire permit. Oh my god, they're getting bigger. Check this out. Yeah, I'd be having a fire and it'd be all calm, and then all of a sudden, like, my neighbor, number 6 was my neighbor. Beep, beep. They would unlock their door or lock it from inside, so there was nobody outside. They had been, like, in their cottage for hours, because, yeah, it was weird. Not everybody hung out outside, like, half the night. They would come from the city and then go inside their cottage and watch TV. I would say to Darren, D, yeah, Darren was his name.
It's still his name. I'd say to Darren, I was like, why do you even have TVs in here? And he's like, they need them. I was like, what do you mean they need them? Like, that's just shouldn't, what if you didn't have TVs and that, like people had to like fucking talk to each other. And he was like, yeah, they wouldn't come here if I did that. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, Michelle, you should see the calls. I am woken up at 2 a.m. sometimes if they can't figure out how to use the remote control, or if the settings are not on, because like, let's say, people are coming from, I don't know, Ohio, and they're in Ontario, Canada, and they're using like a Cogeco cable box that doesn't exist in Ohio. So if the settings are on different, then yeah, they would wake him up at 2 in the morning because they wanted to watch their fucking show or whatever. And yeah, and sports season, people love their football and their fucking hockey. And everything had to be like 100% operational at all times. I know. It blows my mind. Pay for, get out of the city, go on vacation, a week in a cottage, and you must have your TV. No judgment. It's just like one of those things that does not compute. I don't get it. I just got a snowflake in the eyeball. Ow. I said a little one, then I got a big one. Anyways, I've babbled on enough. I always say to people to share their nature, and yeah, I might not be sharing sunshine, but I'm sharing like fucking snow. Yeah, that's what it's like up here in the north. You never know. What's that? There's songs about it snowing in July. Yeah, it's this kind of snow when it snows in July, just, is in passing, and it happens. One of the biggest snowstorms that we had, not last year, but the year before, was in April. And to be honest, last year, the ice was not gone completely off the lake until the weekend of May 24, which is like the first to last, like around the 20 something of May, long weekend. And yeah, the ice had started to melt, and it just stayed cold, and the chunks, because this is the bay, and so the chunks come through here and come land here. So it was funny, I got the kayak on the lake in I don't know, end of April, because I go in my kayak as soon as there's like just enough room to just paddle just a little bit. So I got the kayak out in April, and then all of the beginning of May, I couldn't get her out because the ice was coming to shore. So I couldn't, I was like a puppy. I was like a puppy looking at my kayak and then trying to figure out, can I get my kayak from I don't know, this 10, 15 feet of ice? Could I actually be safe doing that? Spidey senses, higher self, all my instincts would be like, no, you are not safe. My dad, this one time, was so excited to go kayaking, and this is how I learned through others. This was, I don't know, way before I had my own kayak, so I'll say maybe 10, 15 years ago. So my dad decided one time, I'm just too excited, I'm gonna... My dad, he decided to bring his kayak to open water, because where the cottage is, his cottage, there was no open water. So he decided to put his kayak on his Cherokee and go to where there was open water. And where there was open water, there was one of those spots for boats, a boat launch. And where the boat launch was, there was about 10 to 15 feet of ice there. Pure solid ice. So, my dad... My dad decided that he would go from the top of the boat launch, sitting in his kayak, and slide, whee, that he would have enough inertia from the top of the boat launch to get to that 15 feet of open to the open water. And his mentality was like, it doesn't matter how I can get on, I'll figure out how to get off the ice when I'm done. Yeah. I'm not saying that I take after my father, but yeah, I do. So, basically, I was not there, unfortunately, because this would have been awesome to film and to have proof of. But he did it. He slid from, approximately where his Jeep was, all the way down, all the way to the water. But once he got to the water, he fucking flipped the kayak. He flipped the kayak. So, basically, he, now was in a survival situation because the ice water is fucking cold. So as much as I'm laughing, it's because he made it alive. Live to tell the story. It's like that Madonna song, Live to Tell. He made it out alive. He, spidey senses. My dad has actually done wilderness survival training stuff for rescuing people. So my dad's actually been thrown out of a fucking helicopter into fucking raging waters so that his body knows what it's like, and that, done the simulation of saving someone. And what's really cool? When my dad was in the helicopter, and I don't know how many passengers, it must have been 8 or 10, there was a police officer that was the trainer dude in the helicopter, not the one for the whole survival thing he was doing. It was a week thing, not serious, spelled serious, but SIRIUS or something. I don't know. Anyways, and when he was in the helicopter, he was saying where he was from. And then he said his last name. So when he said his last name, the police officer who was doing that part of the training looks at him. He's like, "Oh, do you know Michelle Barrett?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, that's my daughter. How do you know her?" And it turns out that back a certain time, I don't know, 2 or 3 years before, when I was implicated in doing stuff with teenagers, I don't know how to translate what I did. I was basically like once a week, kids would come, they would gather, and I would like do either activities with them or, whatever. I would do stuff so that once a week they actually did stuff. And I don't know, it was like La Maison des Jeunes. So it would be, La Maison des Jeunes would be like the house of teenagers if I translated it. Anyways, it was a really cool experience that I had and I did. It was so awesome. And one time, that police officer specifically, I'll call him helicopter police officer because I don't know his name, I don't remember it. And I had met him, I don't know how, just in town somewhere. Maybe I was getting a traffic ticket. I don't know. I can't remember. And goes along with my don't know if you don't ask. So I met this police officer, and I says to him, I was like, "Hey, would you come to La Maison des Jeunes and speak to my kids?" And he's like, in what context? And I was like, well, what I would like would be like open forum, question and answer of you basically answering anything they want to know. And anything you can show them, like if you're allowed to show them the gun, if you can show them anything that's going to make them, get that thing inside where they're from 12 to 18 years old and they have a respect of police officers instead of, anything negative or anything that is negative. Yeah, I'm not into that whole like hating people and thinking people are bad. And he was like right on it. He's like, yeah. And when he came and did that, it was fucking amazing. He came up to the front. He was like this, and he came in uniform to show the kids, like, whatever, how he's got to dress. Because that's one thing. I always got respect. Like, having a dress like that in fucking, like, weather that's, like, fucking cold or fucking hot, and you're wearing, like, those colors, like, ugh, it's fucking hot. Fucking hot. Those booties, like, it's fucking hot. Like, just a job where you gotta wear socks all the time. I got respect for you all. Like, seriously, fucking hate socks. Anyways, and this first thing he said was like, I will answer anything unless I really legally cannot. And they went to town. They went to town on him. Like, it was one of the best nights we'd ever had. I think we actually did overtime and that, stayed a bit longer. And parents were actually, like either inside waiting or, kids were late to be at home, which in a small town is fine. It's not really scary, believe me. But, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to show the snow. I didn't even think I would talk. I haven't even talked yet. I'm like, just out of bed. But it was so fucking pretty. I had to share. Yeah, I don't talk to a lot of people much, so y'all are it. Have a good day.